Welcome back, everybody, to Body Bag channel. I am Critterbuster, and this is my second review for the channel. And this month, all month long, is Foreign Horror Film Month. So everybody's going to be reviewing some foreign horror films. And up for today, I have Asylum from 1972. This is an anthology film. It starts off with a TV reporter who is I'm sorry, he is a psychologist, like doing research. I think that's what it is. And he goes to this mental institution, and he is trying to get information on these patients for like the research or whatever that he's doing. And so the doctor lures him into each of the patients' room one by one, and the patients tell them their story. The first story that is involved is called Frozen Fear. And it's about a man who is cheating on his wife because he's unhappy with his wife. So he decides that he's going to make this big plan to run off with the woman he's cheating with. So he's going to kill his wife and stuff her body in a freezer. So he goes ahead and he makes the plan. He lures her into the basement and he kills his wife. He wraps all the body pieces, like he chops it up in little pieces. He wraps the body up into little, like, what you would wrap like steak and stuff up with, like that type of paper. And he stuffs everything into the freezer. And he goes back upstairs and he calls the woman that he's having the affair with, and they're going to run off together. Well, she has the idea that they're going to get rid of the body instead of keeping it in the freezer. So he goes downstairs to get the body pieces, and the pieces grab onto him and strangle him and kill him. So the woman that he's having the affair with comes over to see what's going on, and she goes down into the basement, and pretty much every single piece of body that had been chopped up into pieces start crawling toward this lady, start attacking her and trying to kill her and strangle her. It's a really short story. I thought the effects were, for its time in 1972, the effects for it were pretty good, I thought. This is a tame movie, by the way. It's only rated PG, so it's very tame. There's like no blood, no gore, really. So they pretty much just had to do with certain things, certain effects, and just having like body parts just kind of like crawl around. They were all wrapped up. There was no gore or anything. I thought it looked really good. It was well done. This was my favorite story of the four. There's 4 different stories here. The Frozen Fear was my favorite story. But basically the body parts attack the lady, and it drives her insane, and she is trying to convince people that the body parts are alive. And the police lock her up in the mental institution, and that's why she's telling the story. From there, the research guy goes to another patient's room, and he tells them a story called The Weird Tailor. This one actually stars Peter Cushing, and it's about this guy who shows up at a tailor's house, and he pretty much tells him that he wants him to make a suit for his son. And he gives him specific directions on what needs to be done, what it needs to be made out of, certain hours that he can do it, and he has to follow those rules, like specifically to the T. If not, something bad will happen. So the tailor goes ahead and he follows all the rules, and he makes the suit for the guy, and he takes it over to his house. And Peter Cushing's character is like, "I'm sorry, I can't pay you right now. I'm actually poor, and I will have money soon once my son comes back." And the tailor is just like, "No, I have bills to pay. I need the money now." And they start arguing back and forth, and he's like looking around his house trying to find money that he can take, or something valuable he can take to get that money to him. And he opens up one room, and there's a coffin with Peter Cushing's son inside. And basically he's calling him a murderer. And Peter Cushing is like, "No, I'm not a murderer. He died naturally. I have a book here that gives me a spell to make a suit to bring him back to life. And this will make me lots of money. And that's when you'll get your money." The tailor doesn't believe him. He thinks he's crazy. He ends up killing Peter Cushing and taking the book back to his house along with the suit that he made. He explains to his wife everything that happened and why he doesn't have the money. His wife gets angry and says, "I've already told people that you're paying them their bills tomorrow, so you need the money now." So he wants to burn the book and he wants to burn the suit, but she wants to keep the book and the suit for police evidence. So she hangs the suit up on like a mannequin, and sure enough, the suit does work, and it brings the mannequin to life, and the mannequin, well, it attacks both the tailor and the tailor's wife. And that ends that story. This was the second best story of the anthology film. Like they said, they were really short. They were only like 15 minutes for each story, so they weren't very long at all. The third story that is in here has to deal with a lady and her invisible friend. It is called Here Comes Lucy, or Lucy is Still Here, or something like that. And basically, this lady who has had problems ever since she was a kid, who she always blames on a girl named Lucy. And so they take her back to her childhood home or whatever, and they're going to try to fix her. They're like, no more pills for you, nothing. We're just going to get rid of this, and we're going to fix you. You're going to be cured, and you're going to be good. So they stop taking the pills, and sure enough, she starts having problems, and she starts seeing Lucy, and Lucy pretty much kills the maid of the house. And, well, from their perspective, they don't know who Lucy is. They just assume that she is an imaginary friend, even though that we see her on film and everything like that. They just assume that she's not real and that she is the person that's doing all this. So even though that she's blaming Lucy for all of the problems and all the murders, it's really her that's doing this, and that's why she is in the mental institution, because no one believes her, no one can see her. So pretty much it's all her fault. It's all on her head. And without those pills, she can't focus straight on them. So she's always seeing Lucy, even though that she's not real. This was actually the slowest story of the entire anthology. Nothing really happened except for the last part there, where she kills the maid. It took about 13 minutes to get the story started, and then that happens, and then the story ends. So it was just really slow for that, and then no real big payoff. It was like the worst story of the entire anthology. From there we go on to the fourth story, and it was called Mannequins, the Mannequin People, or something like that. And it's about a guy in a mental hospital, and it's actually at the same hospital with the same doctors and stuff. And one of the patients is saying that he can control his mind and his body to control a puppet that he built him, or a mannequin puppet thing that he built himself. Of course, that's why he's in the hospital, because nobody believes him. They think he's nuts. And this doctor has been like horrible, mean to him and everything like that. It locked him up. He goes into his office one night, and the guy makes this puppet move. Like he lays down in his bed, he starts envisioning these things, and this puppet just starts walking, and this puppet walks so slow. Literally, it's the slowest puppet ever. And how nobody would notice it going down the hallway, how nobody noticed anything with the puppet. But eventually the puppet makes its way into the room with the doctor, and it's the same doctor who is actually now telling the research guy at the beginning of it, who keeps going into each patient's room for the stories. He's actually talking to that guy. So basically it's kind of like the wrap-around sort of thing. But the doctor is talking to that guy, the research guy, and the puppet comes up from behind him and stabs the doctor in the neck. And the research guy runs over, scared, doesn't know what's going on, and like crushes the puppet. And sure enough, the inside of the puppet is all made with like blood and like intestines and everything. But it's not gory or anything like that. It's very, very tame. But you get the idea that it was like a living creature almost. And they get news right as soon as that happens that the guy living in that insane room who was doing this has just been crushed to death. So all these stories are pretty common stories amongst like typical horror story type deals. There's a little twist at the very end of it, but I'm not going to ruin exactly what the twist is in case you guys want to see it. It is a really good anthology film. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie, except for that third story. I thought the third story was just way too slow. Even though in the fourth story the puppet moved really slow, it was a lot better story than that third one. But if you guys get a chance, check it out. It is Asylum. The second story stars Peter Cushing. So even if you don't like anything else, Peter Cushing, you gotta love Peter Cushing. So thanks guys for watching a review on Body Bags, and hopefully I'll be back with some more reviews. Let me know what you guys think of this movie. If you have seen it, if you haven't seen it, if you're interested in it, just let me know what you guys think of it. See you guys.